Welcome back to the Speak English podcast. Today, we're diving into some fantastic conversation starters.
Let's do it. It's going to be a great episode.
You opened your notebook, you looked at the words, and suddenly you felt very tired.
Not because you were lazy, and not because you don't care, but because it felt too hard.
That moment when your mind says, maybe English is not for me.
If this feels like your story, stay with us till the end. This might change how you see your English.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Speak English podcast. The place for learning English feels calm, friendly, and possible. I'm Anna.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jake, and I'm really happy to be here again with you today.
I'm happy too, Jake. You look relaxed today.
I do now, but to be honest, yesterday was not a good day.
Oh, what happened?
Yesterday, I was studying English in the evening. I opened my notebook, I looked at the words, and suddenly I felt very tired.
That feeling comes fast sometimes.
Yes, I read one sentence again and again, and my brain said, Jake, this is too hard. I felt small, I felt slow, and for a moment, I wanted to stop.
I think many people listening right now know that feeling, but don't say it. So let's say it clearly. You are not weak, you're just overwhelmed.
Yes, that moment when you think, maybe English is not for me.
Thank you for saying this honestly, Jake, because that is exactly our topic today.
Yes, today we're talking about not giving up on English, especially for beginners, for people who want to learn, but feel tired, confused, or frustrated.
English can feel like a big mountain, a very big mountain.
Some days you feel strong, and some days you feel like sitting down and crying.
And both days are normal.
Before we continue, if you enjoy our conversations, please like this episode and subscribe to the Speak English podcast.
When you subscribe, you learn with us every week.
And if you know someone who feels tired with English, please share this episode with them.
Let's support each other. Okay, Jake, let's go back to yesterday. You said you wanted to stop. What did you do next?
First, I closed my notebook. I didn't feel ready to continue.
That's okay. Sometimes stopping for a moment is not failure. It is needed.
Yes, I made some tea, and I just sat quietly.
Tea helps more than we think, not just with English.
Yes, and then I asked myself something simple. Why did I start learning English?
That question changes everything because sometimes we forget our reason.
I started because I want to speak confidently. I want to understand people, and I want to feel proud of myself.
That is a real reason, and real reasons don't disappear. We just forget them for a moment.
Yes, yesterday I forgot all of that.
That happens to everyone, especially on difficult days.
Then I remembered something my teacher said. When learning feels hard, your brain is working.
That's a powerful idea. It changes how we see difficulty.
She also said, if it feels easy all the time, you are not growing.
Exactly. Growth is not comfortable.
It's like exercise. If the weight is light, nothing changes, but when it feels heavy, you grow.
English works the same way. When you don't understand everything, that is not failure. That is progress.
That helped me a lot. I started feeling better slowly. But Anna, sometimes it still hurts.
Of course. Learning is not only about the brain. It also touches your feelings. You study one day and the next day you forget things and you think, what is wrong with me?
Yes, that feeling is very frustrating.
Let me tell you something important. Very important. Your English is not gone. It is inside you, just a little quiet right now.
That sounds better. Like my effort is still there.
It is always there. Nothing you learn is wasted.
Even one word is progress.
So now we understand something important. Difficulty is not failure. It is part of growth.
But Anna, many learners still feel I am not improving. What should they do then?
That feeling, I am trying, but nothing is changing. It is very real.
Yes, you study, you listen, you try, but inside, you feel the same.
And slowly, that feeling becomes a question. Why am I not improving?
Sometimes it becomes worse. You start thinking, maybe I am not made for this.
Stop there. That thought is not true. It feels real, but it is not the truth.
Learning does not move fast every day. It moves quietly.
Learning English is like walking in fog. You cannot see far. You only see a few steps ahead.
And because you cannot see far, you think you are not moving, but you are.
Slow progress is still progress.
I remember one mistake. I said, I am very boring today, but I wanted to say, I am bored.
That's a classic mistake. Many learners say that.
I felt embarrassed. I wanted to disappear in that moment.
But tell me, did you forget that mistake?
Never. I still remember it clearly.
That's the point. Mistakes stay, and they teach.
Sometimes mistakes teach more than correct sentences.
Another truth, some days you are not lazy. You are just tired.
And tired people don't need pressure. They need rest.
Rest is not the opposite of learning. It is part of learning.
Like charging a phone, your brain also needs energy.
So on difficult days, don't stop completely. Just go small. Listen for 1 minute. Say one sentence. That is enough.
1 minute feels possible. Anyone can start with that.
Consistency is more important than doing everything perfectly.
That makes sense. But what about fear? Many learners feel scared to speak. How do they deal with that? Yes, fear is a big part of learning English. Fear of speaking, fear of making mistakes, and fear of people judging you.
That fear stops many learners, even before they try.
But let me say something important. Fear means you care.
That's interesting. Can you explain that?
If English did not matter to you, you would not feel afraid. So fear is not a bad sign. It is a sign that this matters to you.
That changes the meaning of fear. It is not something to avoid. It is something to move through.
I still remember my first English conversation. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating fast.
Me too. I felt the same.
I was not perfect. I made mistakes. But after speaking, I felt proud.
That feeling is powerful, and it is waiting for every learner.
On the other side of fear.
So let's make it simple. Not a big goal, just one small step.
Today, say one English sentence out loud. Just one.
In your room, in front of a mirror, or quietly to yourself.
And after that, smile. Smile because you tried.
Because trying is where confidence begins.
Dear Anna, can I share something personal?
Always.
There was a time when I wanted to quit learning English. I felt slow. I felt behind others.
What helped you continue?
Faith, trusting that my effort matters, even when I don't see results.
Yes, sometimes we need something deeper to keep going.
It reminded me I am not alone in this journey.
Dear listeners, please remember this. You are not stupid. You are not slow. You are learning.
And learning takes time. Time is not your enemy. It is your partner.
If today feels heavy, that is okay. Slow days still move you forward.
Rest if you need. Pause if you need. But don't quit.
We believe in you, and we are learning with you.
So now we understand fear better. But what about those thoughts that come again and again in the mind?
Yes, those thoughts, they don't come once. They come again and again, especially when everything is quiet.
Thoughts like, I am too slow. I am not smart enough. I started too late. Many learners feel this, but they don't say it.
Let's say something clearly. Those thoughts are not facts. They feel real, but they are not true.
Learning has no age, no deadline, and no finish line.
So if you are thinking about quitting, please pause. Not forever, just for today.
Don't decide your future on a tired day.
Because tired thoughts are not true thoughts.
Let me ask you something. Do you remember your first English sentence?
Yes. Hello, my name is Anna.
That sentence is simple, but it started everything. Every fluent speaker started like that.
No one starts fluent. Everyone starts small.
Sometimes learners feel alone, like no one understands them.
But look around. Millions of people are learning English, feeling the same fear, the same frustration, the same hope.
You're not alone. You are part of something bigger.
A community of learners just like you.
And here, we are not teachers, we are friends.
Friends who understand your struggle without judging you.
Can I say something real?
Always.
It's okay to feel emotional about learning, even to cry sometimes.
Yes, because it matters to you.
And when something matters, emotions come with it.
Learning English is not just about words. It touches your confidence, your identity, your dreams.
And dreams are not logical. They are emotional. They are personal.
So listen carefully. If English feels hard today, it does not mean you are failing.
It means you are growing.
And people who grow, they don't quit. They pause, they breathe, and then they continue.
That makes sense, but what about comparison? When we see others doing better than us? Yes, comparison can be very painful. You see someone speaking fast, using big words, and you feel, I'm not good enough.
That feeling is very common, especially when you're learning something new.
Sometimes I become quiet in those moments. I listen, but I don't speak.
You disappear a little because you're afraid of sounding wrong.
Yes, afraid of making mistakes, afraid of sounding stupid.
But listen carefully. Your English does not need permission.
That sounds powerful. What does that mean?
It means you don't need to wait until you're perfect. You can speak right now.
English is not a door that someone opens for you. You open it yourself.
With mistakes, with simple words, with courage.
And simple English is strong English.
Many learners think, I must speak like native speakers, but this creates pressure.
Yes, native speakers grew up with English. They did not learn it like you, so comparing is unfair.
Your English is your journey. It does not need to be perfect. It needs to be real.
And let's talk about accent. Many learners feel embarrassed about it too.
But accent is not a weakness. It is a sign of effort.
It means you speak more than one language.
Your accent is your story. It shows where you come from and how far you have come.
So never hide it. Speak with it.
Another important truth, many learners think, I need confidence first, then I will speak.
But that is not how it works. Confidence comes after action. You speak first, then confidence follows.
You don't wait to feel ready. You become ready by trying.
So let's say this clearly. If today you feel weak, that is okay.
Weak days do not erase your progress.
They are part of your journey, not the end of it.
Without struggle, growth would feel empty.
Yes, struggle gives meaning to success.
So now, we understand comparison, confidence, and self-worth.
But what happens if someone gives up completely?
That's a powerful question. What happens when someone gives up on English?
They don't just stop learning words, they slowly stop believing in themselves.
Yes, they tell their minds, I can't do hard things.
And that belief becomes dangerous because English is not the only challenge in life.
When you continue, you are not just learning English, you are building strength.
You build patience, you build discipline, and trust in yourself.
Many people think confidence comes first, but that is not true.
Confidence comes after action. You try first, then confidence follows.
So remember this. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to begin.
And now, let's talk to you. Yes, you, listening right now.
If today feels heavy, that is okay. If you feel lost, just listen.
If you feel shy, just repeat. If you feel tired, just rest.
But don't leave. Stay close to English, like a friend, not like a problem.
Anna, do you really believe everyone can learn English?
Yes, I truly believe that. Even slow learners, especially slow learners.
Why especially slow learners?
Because they feel deeply. They don't rush. They build strong foundations.
That's beautiful. Learning English changes people. It gives them a voice.
And your voice matters. Even if it shakes, even if it is not perfect, it still matters.
Your voice deserves to be heard.
And maybe right now you feel quiet inside, but that will change.
Not in one day, not in 1 week, but it will change.
Because you are not stuck. You are growing.
So keep going. 1 word at a time, 1 day at a time.
And if you are still here, we have one small request.
Go to the comments and write 1 sentence. I will not quit.
Not for us, for yourself.
Because one day you will come back to this moment and feel proud that you continued.
Thank you for being here and learning with us.
Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode on the Speak English podcast.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.